What a dumb lady.
You idiot woman! Idiot woman!
Hello, one, hello, all.
Idiot woman!
Welcome
You idiot
to another episode of The Josh Potter Show. I, of course, am your host, Josh Potter. Thank you to my man, By Definition, for this nice Idiot Woman John Otto remix. I do love the John Otto remixes. Let's bop to this a bit.
You idiot woman! Idiot woman!
Like, what a dumb lady.
What a dumb lady indeed. We have some dumb ladies, some idiot womans, as it were. I wish I could have faded that out, but I have a new system, if you weren't aware, as you could tell. Where is your shitty laptop, Josh? Well, let me tell you a little something about that laptop, first and foremost. You know, it took a lot of shade over the last couple of weeks. You know, since we've moved over here to the Night Pants studio, we're working with what we got, and what I got isn't much. I'm thankful to Ryan Sickler and to Sean for welcoming me in here and letting me use their studio and their equipment. This is not my laptop. This is Sean's. What happened to yours, Josh? Well, it finally, after, let's see, when did I get that laptop? It's been a decade. And it's not even broken. The backlight of the monitor has stopped working. Like, now I can attach it to my television or another monitor, and I can still see the display on there. Everything else works fine. It's just the backlight, which is fixable. But everyone I've gone to, Sean, you're one of them. I'm like, hey, do you think you could fix a backlight on a monitor? You're like, why don't you just get a new laptop? And that's the plan. The second the money comes in from doing this freaking thing, once that happens, I'll get one. But right now, I was working with what I had, and I don't respect people who throw shade to that laptop. I gotta tell you, that laptop has been through my life, thick and thin, when I was the most poor, when I was still poor, when I moved to Los Angeles. I mean, it's been with me on the road. It used to help me edit radio commercials back in the day. It's fallen in. As Sean even said, he's like, what happened? Like, because the front of it was all like fucked up and shit, like it had stuff. I've dropped that thing thousands of times. I've dropped it in. I was waiting in a bus station one time, and I was working on something and trying to get some emails sent out or whatever, because they had Wi-Fi in the bus station. And then the bus came, and I was like, oh, and I ran and I dropped it in like the mud. I mean, this thing has been through hell, and I'm a little sad. I was really sad when it finally was no longer functioning for the capacity to use it in this podcast. I was very upset about that, but we move onward and upward, as they say, and so the soundboard doesn't have all of the things in it that I normally would have today, but we do have a soundboard nonetheless for the essentials. I was going to come in here and just start doing it manually.
Yo, acapella?
I was going to acapella some shit
fuck
in here. And I feel bad because we've had so many people send things in as far as remixes go to joshpottershow@gmail.com. Grass Kingdoms being one of them. He was on his Instagram showing us how he creates his beats and things like that. So I got to see the inner workings of it, and I was excited to play them this week. And alas, I cannot, because of the scrambling that occurred in the last 12 hours in order to just have a functioning system here for you. So thank you to Sean. Thank you, buddy, for coming in today and making it work. We're also like kind of doing it on the fly a day earlier than we normally would, because I'm going on a plane tomorrow to Salt Lake City to Wise Guys with Annie Letterman. By the time this comes out, that would have already happened. So if you are in Salt Lake City, hopefully you went, because it was a fun little surprise. She needed a person to come with last minute. So voila, your boy is going with her. And lots of wild stuff. I mean, by the time this airs too, I don't have the story yet, but next week I might. I'm on a lineup tonight. Comedy's back here in Los Angeles, thank the Lord. I'm on a lineup tonight with Jay Leno and Howie Mandel. I don't know how that's going to go. My mother would be so stoked. I mean, they're both very, legends, all that kind of thing. I'm not throwing shade when I say that. I'm just saying not my brand, if you will. So it's going to be an interesting mix to see them and me on the same stage. And my mom, though, is going to be very excited. I'm hoping I can take a picture in the green room with at least Howie Mandel, because I remember, I'll never forget this, Sean, when I started doing comedy, or not even when I started. I was about probably, 5-6 years in at this point, a road feature. And my mother one day, she says, you should do comedy in front of Howie Mandel. And I was like, why? And she said, because that's how you can get famous. And I was like, really? That's what you think? That's how you think it works? I just do a set in front of Howie Mandel and then the keys to show business are just given to me. She said,
when he was doing the
America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
He's still doing it, is he not? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Nevertheless, it was that one and Ellen, my mother said, that I need. She's like, without those two, you don't have a future if they're not on your side. My mother, I don't know. Does she? I don't know if she knows about the fact that Ellen is a monster. I don't know if she knows or not. Howie Mandel, from all I've heard, very nice gentleman. So, well, hopefully that will be true later today. Let's get into some plugs and things, though, real quick before I get on with the show, because we have so many fun things to get to. Some follow-ups from stories we've had last week. Some wild follow-ups. But yes, I'm going to be at the Brea Improv in Brea, California, July 29th. And Sarah Weinshank's coming with me. So is Eric Rocha. It's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. Meet and greets. I'm going to do meet and greets again. Now, as this is coming out, or as this is being recorded, they're talking about in California here about the Delta thing and all that. And so I'm nervous that they're going to take my meet and greets away. But as far as I know, they're not. So please come say what's up. This is the time. It's been such a, I don't know that I was a guy that was like into doing meet and greets before coronavirus, but since now I want to do them all. So please come out, say what's up. And then on August 2nd, just a few days later, I'm going to be at the Helium Comedy Club in St. Louis. So all those tickets can be found on my Instagram at Josh_Potter. They can be found on my Twitter, which is at J_Potter. The links are right in the bio for you, or you can just go to the club's website and you can check it out over there, Also, twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. It's so funny. So many people in the comment section of last week's episode were listening about me talking about Twitch and things like that, wanting to come onto the channel. The last 2 days, your boy was banned from the Twitch. The Twitch police came down hard. And it wasn't even Twitch, turns out. It was Major League Baseball that got me copywritten or copyright striked or whatever it is, Sean. You know the language better than I. I posted the strike up on my Instagram. And I didn't know that could be, I'm going to plead ignorance on this one, even though I went to years of broadcasting school and I kind of understand copyright laws. I am going to plead plead ignorance on this one because of the fact that I didn't realize the audio from the Home Run Derby was or not the Home Run Derby. I did that one too. But the All-Star game, I was trying to live stream. I did a wonderfully fun, successful, I would say, live stream of the Home Run Derby. We had a good time. We'll talk about that in a moment. But also I did one for the All-Star game, the Major League Baseball All-Star game. That was the one where they struck us down. And it happened at a peculiar moment, to be honest. The All-Star game was very fun this year. The Home Run Derby was electric. The All-Star game, the game was kind of boring, but there was some fun things to be had. And it was absolutely wild. But we'll get into that once we get into the sports. We have other things we have to mention in regards to the great debate that is the fly versus over the top. And, I said last week that it is something that I encourage you to try if you haven't. I'm trying to get some converts over here. And I heard from many of you. Some of you tried it, not your cup of tea. And that's fine. I'm accepting of others. You should be too. Some people are not so accepting. One guy, he was like, I tried the fly business and I almost pissed my pants. I almost just got it all over my pants. It took too long. And I told him, I said, you're out of practice. It's your first try. You can't just sprint a 40 without stretching. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, next time, practice a little bit when it's not an emergency situation. That way you get your fly game down pretty good, and then you can try it. But yes, we've had a few converts. I had a guy even mention to me, not mentioned to me, but he mentioned it, I believe, in the comments of the YouTube video. I'm going to pull it up here of last week's episode. He just said, he goes, I've been living a lie my whole life. Something to that effect. I'm going to pull it up right now because I have it highlighted here. Listen to the cockroach. I'm a convert myself, actually. I was over the top my whole life until a couple of weeks ago. Never looked back. What does that say? That's one testimonial. Now, there's plenty I said that were negative. Let's pull up a couple others here. This one comes to us by a gentleman by the name of Trey Young. He says, "Hey, Josh, I am not a roving roach, nor do I have any insight on some cool news. I can say, though, that I'm from Bloomington, Minnesota, where that whack-ass mall is. I don't have any links to it, but I'm sure you've heard the body that was absolutely, murdered there." He wrote the whole thing out. I don't even know where it is. Now I have to play it. There we go. Nevertheless, ladies, that's not it. See, I'm blind, and it's a new soundboard. There she is.
Murder.
Hey. And for those of you who don't know, that's Kay Kennedy on that murder drop. But there it is right there. Let's play it again for the people at home.
Murder.
A young man was found in multiple locations, including his penis, probably because he was an out-of-the-fly kind of guy. So this guy is chalking up the murder to the fact that he was an out-of-the-fly kind of guy. Going through the fly is an abomination to mankind, and I'd also like to say that manscaped underwear are fully enclosed. Well, cut a slit in them. I don't fucking know what to tell you. The Manscaped did not send me any underwear. Manscaped makes underwear? I did not know. They haven't sent me any underwear, just the shavings. I actually haven't checked. They sent me a t-shirt. Anyways, I would like to report that I'm a member of the Inner City Blacks that can attest to this argument and say that over the top is so your dick can flop. It's the best route. I wonder if it is a race thing. I would like to get a litmus test. I also thought, we'll read a couple more emails here.
I have asked, and they just happen to be Inner City Blacks, but a couple of them, just over the top. No one says through the fly. Maybe
it's because I'm not cool. Maybe it's a nerd thing. This one comes to us by way of an Iowa roach out there. I didn't want to say their name. "Hi, Josh. I've been following the Through the Fly versus Over the Top debate, and as an up and over guy myself, I have to admit you've made some good points. Ooh. Leaving everything in place, shirt tucked, belt buckled, button fastened, underwear in the upright position, etc., is arguably the classiest way to take a piss, and in some cases, it's just easier, like when you're wearing a tux and peeing into the ice cube-filled urinal, or when you're in a frozen lake somewhere in the Midwest pissing into a snowbank. But whenever I'm not melting ice in a hotel ballroom adjacent bathroom or making yellow snow while ice fishing, I make like a World War I general and send my little army man up and over the top. Here's my reasoning." And he's got a whole detailed reasoning. 1, unless you're wearing pants with a fly, you're pulling down the front of your shorts or sweatpants anyway. I don't wear sweatpants that often unless I'm at home. If I'm at home, I'm dropping it like a 4-year-old down to my ankles. I don't give a shit. I'm at home. If I'm at home taking a piss, I will sit down. It's my fucking bathroom. Do you know what I mean?
You'll sit down?
I'll sit down. I don't give a shit. It's comfortable. I sit down. I go, take a piss.
It's funny just because on the Do, we had Diaz, right?
Yeah.
And he said, or he didn't say, he demonstrated.
Yeah,
he took a shit.
He took a shit on TV.
On stream.
Yeah.
And then he got up after to piss.
That's wild. That might just be his plumbing, like he has to because sometimes, it's like you're sitting down there, maybe it's getting all caught up in you and you have to stand up. Gravity lets it out. I don't know, but that's insane. I've never heard of anything like that. I have to ask him about that sometime. He has other reasoning here. He says, 2, if you do have a fly and it just feels good to unbuckle the belt, undo the button, and unzip the fly. Nothing is clinched up against your bladder, and you can literally let it all hang out, the gut, the dick. And if they've been having a bad day, you can easily whip out the balls and give them a breather. Number 3, putting yourself back together is much easier. You're welcome. That's what I'm saying. Since your dick is in its unencumbered natural state already, you don't have to shove it back through the teeth of your fly and then manually adjust yourself to your preferred pant leg. You just flap so he's arguing for the other one. You just flap the boxers or boxer briefs back over your manhood and everything is snug and in its right place. So the next time you got to piss after shotgunning beers on Twitch, instead of going through the incision like a cesarean section, try and go all natural and let the boys hang out like God intended. Well, like I said, when I'm at home and I'm taking a piss, I'll fucking sit down. I'll drop trout the ankles. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about urinal etiquette here, and I'm a through the fly guy all the way. And also public urination. It's a thing that's a crime in many places. If you do publicly urinate, oftentimes you can end up with a sex offender crime pinned to you. Did you know that, Ashawn? But I think here in LA, because of the homeless people being rampant, they've gotten rid of that. I know in New York, if you get caught for publicly peeing, they can't give you the sex offender thing. I don't even know if it's a crime anymore in New York. I think you can just piss willy-nilly. Just walk in the middle of Times Square, take a piss. Let me see what happens. Here's one last email. This one by way of Tyler. He says, "Hey, Josh, I figured that I would give my 2 cents on the issue. More often than not, I'm an over-the-waistband guy. I mainly wear sweats and gym shorts, but this also works with jeans. Simply, you slip one thumb down both your boxer and pants waistbands to pull them forward, and then you pull your dick out with your other hand and piss. Now, when I'm wearing jeans with a belt, I do go through the pants fly. However, I don't go through the boxer fly because it has either an annoying button holding the boxer flap shut. Why do you have the button buttoned?" That's one thing I never understood. If you have a button on your boxers, I get it if you're just like wearing your boxers around the house and you don't want your dick just like falling out. You know, maybe you have children or something. I don't know. My dad used to wear tighty whities just walking around. And there was never a time when any of us thought it was cool. We were all like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Put on something. And he would just walk around that. This is like when I was a child. And he would just walk around that way. My mother would even make a fuck. She'd be like, what are you doing? And he was like, it's my fucking house. I'll wear what you know what I want? Yeah, exactly. He's like, it's my fucking house. I'll do whatever I want. So, hey. But I never understood the button thing. I've had boxers with buttons. Never once did I do the button on them. I mean, just leave that shit open. It's in your fucking pants anyway. Who cares?
Well, your dick flops out and then rubbing against your jeans, right?
Nah.
Nah? All right.
It's hanging too low.
Yeah. I mean, fuck button draws anyway. Like, I don't like this at all.
I mean, if I have them, I'm not buttoning it. That's all I'm saying. However, I don't go through the boxers, the fly, because it's annoying. The annoying button on the boxer flaps shut, or the very least, or the very far overflapping front of the boxer briefs. He thinks it's too far overflapping. It's a curtain. You open it. Come on. How lazy are people? Let's go. Instead, I pull my left boxer leg up where my dick hangs. Oh, this guy's just bragging now.
Yeah, where my dick hangs.
Yeah, he's pulling up he's doing what I like to call option 3. Now, option 3 is for those big-dicked gents out there. And if you're wearing short shorts, maybe you're wearing a bathing suit, that's when you do a Colin Kaepernick and you kneel for the anthem, and then you just pee out the bottom of your leg, pant leg. That's option 3. That's an expert move.
That's the Kelsey Cook type right there.
Yeah, that's the BDE. Last night, I'll tell you this. I was at the Comedy Store last night, and you might have seen it. By this point, it will be very old for you because it happened on last Wednesday. But I was hanging out. Bert Kreischer was home from Serbia, so he was there. And he was with Dave Williamson, his opener, very funny guy. And Steve Fury was there, and we were sitting around. And I don't know how the topic came up, but I had mentioned that I have been a stunt dick a few times in some ladies' OnlyFans. And what that means is I'm not in it, but my penis is being used for said action in it. And Bert wanted to see it. So I obliged. I showed him. And he was actually quite impressed with my penis. I couldn't believe it. Now, I don't know if that's because his penis is so atrocious. I'm going to have to ask more comic friends out there about this sort of thing, about my penis, and see if and I said this to somebody. I was like, I don't mind showing dudes my dick. Like, I've sent friends dick pics out of just being funny, and someone was like, I don't see how that's funny. And I was like, I don't know. I thought it was funny. Did you ever do that? I don't know. I think that's hilarious. You just sent.
That's hilarious, but no, I've never.
I did this a few years ago. I sent one of my best buddies, Andy, a picture, just like out of nowhere, with no words, nothing, just a dick pic, and he just wrote back, "Did you mean to send this to me?" And I wrote back. At first, I lied. I was like, "Oh, my bad," but then I was like, "No, man, I'm just fucking." I did it in front of like all our other friends too. They were laughing. I don't know. I thought it was funny. And then I did it like, you ever I don't airdrop it like to fucking strangers. I'm not a monster. But if I'm in a room of like friends in like a house or something, I'll do that once in a while. Is it still the same sentiment of like assault when you're doing it to your bro friends?
I wouldn't say it's assault.
Thank you.
When you're bros, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fucking dudes. I'm not doing it to women. I would never do that to a woman. I would never make them. if they didn't want to see it.
Yeah,
see
that
it.
was what I was gonna say. If they wanted to see it.
Oh, yes, then surely. It's so funny, too, because, I remember Christina would always ask me, she'd be like, aren't you worried someone's going to leak it out there? And I would be like, let them. That'll help me sell some tickets, I think, at the end of the day. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by True Niagen. Now imagine, if you will, when you wake up in the morning and you're feeling like you need a little pick-me-up and you reach for that cup of coffee. Maybe you reach for a pot of coffee, a whole thing of it. Maybe you reach for those things. What if they had benefits? Things like maintaining cellular metabolism or, for instance, maintaining some heart health. Coffee doesn't have that, but True Niagen does. It's getting the coffee out of my life completely, and I couldn't be more thankful because I feel healthier, and it's clinically proven to boost NAD levels with True Niagen, an essential coenzyme required for cellular energy and repair. Since taking True Niagen, I've had more resiliency. I honestly don't feel sore when I go for a run or a jog or what have you. I've been doing that, believe it or not, doing a little jogging, your boy over here. And True Niagen helps me sort of like have that resiliency where I'm not feeling sore, and the next day when I go to try to do it, I'm not like, ugh. It's been really helping me out, and it's been eliminating the coffee from my life, giving me that little extra boost for the day. And I want to give you your own little boost. So right now, new customers for True Niagen can save 10% on their purchase by going to trueniagen.com/Potter. Use code Potter10. That's TRUNIAGEN.com/Potter. Code Potter10 to save 10% on your first purchase. trueniagen.com/Potter. Use code Potter10. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Today's Josh Potter Show is also brought to us by Expressvpn. You don't want your buddy to know what you're doing on the internet. Why would you want the government to know, or anybody for that matter? Expressvpn is helping you out. If you think you're going in incognito mode and that's doing it, it's not. Trust me. Expressvpn doesn't log your activity online whatsoever. Also, ExpressVPN now uses Lightway, a new VPN protocol they engineered to make user speeds faster than ever. I mean, I've tried other VPNs before I got ExpressVPN, before they hooked me up, and I got to tell you, this one is blowing the others out of the water. ExpressVPN is always blazing fast, and it lets me stream videos in HD quality without any buffering. I've been watching Dodgers games, Angels games, all because even though I live in the market, ExpressVPN hides where you're at. You can watch, I've saw a friend of mine, a lady friend, she was watching Love Island in the UK. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to see this before it even comes over to America. There's no technical skills needed to set it up. You just fire up the app and tap one button to connect. I mean, it's not just me saying this. CNET, The Verge, many other tech journals rate ExpressVPN the number one VPN in the world. So to protect yourself right now with VPN that I use and trust, ExpressVPN, use my link, expressvpn.com/Josh today, and you get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/Josh. Visit expressvpn.com/Josh to learn more. But yes, we did get our Twitch strike because of the All-Star game. And for those who are not uneducated, but just uninitiated in the sports world, we're in July right now. And July is, in terms of sports, typically one of the worst months. Like, I remember as a kid, you'd watch ESPN, SportsCenter would come on, and you would just be like, oh God, it's just all baseball, which now I love. But back as a kid, I didn't really care for that. I was like, oh, no sports are on. There's no football. There's no hockey. There's nothing. Nowadays, with the news cycle being what it is, we end up getting some things from all the sports here and there. But it's not a lot going on. So the MLB All-Star Game is pretty much the only thing. And then with the MLB All-Star Game, that means no other baseball is happening, which is annoying for a fan like myself. But it was an interesting game. The Home Run Derby was a lot of fun. I live streamed that one on Twitch without getting in trouble because I don't think the audio was coming through. Of course, Pete Alonso, repeat winner. We got to see Trey Mancini, who had fucking cancer last year, come out and almost win the Home Run Derby. How insane is that? If I had cancer, shut it down, dude. I don't even care if I've survived it. I'm not doing shit ever again. I'm just going to be, you know what I mean? Like, God bless that guy. He's an inspiration for sure. But the actual game, and I'm sad that this didn't get broadcast on my Twitch, or at least me have some commentary about it, because Joe Buck was the announcer of the MLB All-Star Game, as he has been for the last 20 years. It's so funny, dude. I went back and I actually watched an old one in 2001. It's pre-9/11, July 2001. Joe Buck's calling the game. He looks like a fucking child. And it was Ichiro was in the thing. And now Ichiro is a Japanese player. Of course, today, here 20 years later, we have Shohei Ohtani, who is becoming one of the faces of baseball. And he is also a Japanese player. So it's just interesting to see how they handled it 20 years ago versus today. And 20 years ago, they were talking about Ichiro and where he came from and his place in Japan. And they played the most racist Japanese music I have ever. It was like bing bong, bing bong, boom, boom. I thought a fucking person in a robe was going to come out with one of those things and do a little dance or some shit. A geisha, yes, exactly. I thought there was going to be like geishas and shit. It's so fucking funny, the difference between then and now. And of course now, with Shohei Ohtani becoming sort of the face of the game, being an incredible pitcher and batter, doing things that haven't been done since Babe Ruth. And by the way, if Babe Ruth was around today, he'd be getting he was smoking cigars and fucking fat and shit. He wouldn't be doing this shit at all. Shohei Ohtani is leaps and bounds better than Babe Ruth, and I don't mind fucking saying that. But as we get into the sports here, and we don't have many sports, so all the queefy crybabies about the sports, you'll be happy to know there isn't much to talk about today, but I wanted to talk about the broadcast in general for the All-Star Game to kick off our sports today. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. That's right, folks. Joe Buck calling his, I believe, 20th All-Star Game, which is insane. He also had some new technology to play with during the All-Star Game, and I wish I could play the audio of it, but Major League Baseball is already up my ass with the copyright stuff, so I don't really want to stoke their ire any longer. But they had a thing where they were miking up the players during the game, which is very interesting. There's no consequences really in an All-Star game other than the side that wins, the AL or the NL. I believe they get like home field advantage in the World Series. I can't remember maybe they got rid of that. I can't remember if there's any implications with the All-Star game. The American League has won it 7 years in a row now, and it doesn't seem like many people give a shit playing in the game. So they mic'd up players. The first one that they mic'd up was, I believe it was Ozzie Albies. No, he was later. I have it written down here. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull up my notes. You see, they were in my computer, and the computer is broken. It was Xander Bogaerts, and he was batting while they were talking to him. Now, Joe Buck is talking to him in the broadcast, and he's down there trying to take a pitch, and I believe he was one of the first batters. So, I mean, this is the ace of the night that he's facing. And Xander Bogaerts is up there, and Joe Buck's like, "Hey, Xander, do you hear us?" And he's not answering because he's concentrating. He's about to bat. He's in the batter's box. And Joe Buck persists. Xander, can you hear us? And then he finally is like he takes a pitch. It's a ball or something. He walks back. He goes, "Yeah, I can hear you." And he's like, "What are you looking for here?" And he's like, "Just looking for a ball to hit." You know, I mean, like, what's he going to say? The guy's trying to concentrate and talk. He's not going to give a full-on interview. So first he gets a strike. And he goes, under his breath, "Fuck." Right over the broadcast. I laughed so hard. I was like, what did they think was going to happen? Sure enough, you would think after he did that, they would mute his mic or at least move on. Nope. Then Joe Buck starts kind of chirping him. He's like, "Oh, that one looked out." You know, he's like telling him what the pitches look like. And if I'm Xander Bogaerts, I would have ripped that earpiece out of my ear and stomped on it on the ground. I mean, it was so fucking weird. And he's like heckling the guy. Finally, he strikes out, and Joe Buck's like, "Oh, he gotcha!" And if I'm Xander Bogaerts, I would have looked up at the press box and been like, "Fuck you, dude! Get out of my fucking ear, bro!" And then they did one that was a little more, I can understand, palatable. They did Ozzie Albies. He was out in the field playing second base, and next to Trey Turner, and he's out there talking. Every time a ball gets like fouled off or whatever, he's like, "Oh," he's reacting to the strike of the bat, and so he's trying to give. He's trying to have a conversation, the poor guy, but he's also trying to concentrate on the game. Finally, a ball goes, I think it was to first base, and they threw it to Trey Turner, and Trey Turner's like, "Oh," and he didn't know he was going to go to second, and they're talking to Ozzie Albies on the sideline, and they're like, "Ozzie, what happened down there?" And he's like, "I think Trey got a little scared." And then Trey comes up to Ozzie Albies. I don't even know if he knew he was mic'd up. Trey comes up to him. He's like, holy hell, what the hell? He's like, I didn't know that was coming or something like that. And it's like, does he know he's mic'd up? It's one of those things where you're like, does he know? And finally, the coup de grace was Liam Hendriks, Australian pitcher, closing things out, getting the save for Shohei Ohtani in the AL. He fucking, I don't know if it was for, I don't remember, but Liam Hendriks comes out and they're trying to talk to him. He's pitching now and they're trying to talk to him in his ear. He has an earpiece while he's pitching. And pitchers are vocal, especially Liam Hendriks, Australian, by the way, Liam Hendriks. So they're talking to Liam Hendriks. He can't hear them. So he doesn't think his mic is working. But they leave him up for the whole series. So he's going, God damn it, which is like, I don't even know if you can say God damn it on broadcast television. I think it's kind of one of those like secret faux pas. Like I think you can say it, but I think it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, just say damn it. Don't put the God in there. People will complain. It's like an old school rule. But they kept him up and you can hear him saying, he's like, but they're like, aren't you mic'd up? Someone asked him that on the field. Aren't you mic'd up? And he goes, it's broken. At that point, if you're in the booth, mute the fucking guy. What are you doing? Why would you keep him on? And he definitely throughout God fucking, he got a hit off him or something, or maybe he walked a guy and he goes, God fucking damn it, son of a bitch, or something, like a string of curse words. And they still kept him up. They didn't even acknowledge it or apologize or anything. Usually that happens too. We apologize for the colorful language. They did say at one point, they're like, Liam Hendriks can be a colorful guy. It's like, yeah, mute his mic when he doesn't know he's on the air. That's so fucked up to do. What if, and I'm not putting this on Liam Hendriks. He's a wonderful man. I'm sure he has no hate in his heart. But what if he was just making slurs? Like he's doing the fucking F-bomb, not the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Or he's doing like the N. What if he dropped an N-bomb or something wild? Is that Liam Hendriks' fault that he's under the breath muttering such a thing and it gets picked up on a mic that he doesn't realize is live? It's just irresponsible broadcasting from Fox. And I learned, by the way, I mentioned Trey Mancini in the cancer situation. I had put bets on two batters in that home run derby. They both lost very early. And Trey Mancini was the lowest odds player. He was like plus, I don't know, something crazy, like 3,000 or something like that. He was easily the biggest long shot of the entire home run derby. And I'm kicking myself in the ass for not betting him. Because why? You don't bet against cancer. That trumps everything. I thought Trevor Story, hometown player. I thought Joey Gallo, everyone's riding him. So I'm thinking these guys are going to do something. I put a bet on them. Shohei Ohtani's got a lot of pub and shit like that. But then when I remembered Trey Mancini had this cancer story, I go, I can't believe I bet against cancer. You don't bet against a cancer story. But he didn't end up winning the whole thing. Pete Alonso pulled it out. But how amazing would it have been if he did? You would have struck mother effing gold if you would have done that whole thing. But again, some more baseball news real quick, and it has nothing to do with baseball, and it has everything to do with our little interview that we had with Tom Brennaman, if you recall, a couple of weeks back. Going on right now, as I mentioned, Shohei Ohtani, face of the game. Lots of people talking about him through the All-Star game. Japanese-born player coming over here, pitching better than anybody, batting better than everybody. And Stephen A. Smith, oftentimes up on ESPN, spouting off. This guy, his whole thing is having takes, if you don't know. So he goes up there, he's like, it is an abomination, blah, blah, blah. Like he fucking just rants and raves. He said something to the effect, by the way, he had 2 gaffes in one day, which is crazy, but he's always getting in trouble, so who the hell cares? But he had 2 gaffes in one day, and one was in regards to the USA Olympic basketball team losing to Nigeria, which I don't think is supposed to happen. I don't know much about basketball, but from what I recall, we're supposed to kind of dominate, having some of the most elite players in the world. So Stephen A. Smith's like, they up here losing to Manjambu Dambu. He's like saying names wrong and shit, like disrespectfully. And he thinks he can just do that because he's black. That's honestly what that was his rationale later. He goes, I'm black. I can say Baba Doo Beep or whatever the fuck. Whatever he was saying. He was just disrespectfully saying their names. But the thing that he said about Shohei Ohtani was that he could never be a marquee face of Major League Baseball because he needs a translator. Now, Shohei Ohtani does speak English decently, but he chooses to have a translator because he wants to get his thoughts out more articulately when he's dealing with the press. Who can blame him in this day and age? So Stephen A. Smith made these remarks on his show, and then he doubled down saying, I'm black, I'll do what I want, kind of basically. But through all of it, after he apologized, finally, ESPN hasn't done anything. They haven't taken him off the air. They haven't fired him. So our buddy, Marty Brennaman, father of Tom Brennaman, who was just on this show 2 weeks ago, he chimed in on Twitter. He said, according to this USA Today article, which is wild that it's in there because I'll tell you why it's wild in a second. He said, after he made his apology, ESPN Stephen A. Smith made on First Take, showing support for Smith, adding that he wished his son's employers had been just as forgiving as Smith's. Smith apologized to the Asian community and the Asian American community after suggesting earlier that Major League Baseball can't market LA Angels star Shohei Ohtani because Ohtani uses an interpreter. By the way, that is a horrible take. If you have an interpreter, this is the best time to be a Japanese-born player and be the face of the game. We're all stopping the Asian hate, right? That's the whole thing right now. Why? You gotta, if it was just a normal white guy talking, no, that's the one that couldn't be the face of the game right now. Okay? That's the one where they'd be like, well, he's white. Look at Mike Trout. That guy's been like borderline anonymous to non-baseball players for like a decade, and he's one of the best players of all time. So Shohei Ohtani is, I think, the most marketable player being Japanese. Do you know what I'm saying? With all the things happening right now? Let's see what it says here. But, listen to the way the article goes on. ESPN Stephen A. Smith. I do not believe Tom Brennaman deserves to be fired. Brennaman's son, Tom, resigned from his position as play-by-play announcer for the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio. We all know why that happened. Tom Brennaman appeared on comedian Josh Potter's podcast earlier this month to discuss how he's slowly come around to accept that people are enjoying joking about the now famous drive into deep left field by Castellanos. So we're making USA Today, folks. How exciting is that? Our infestation is growing. Pretty soon they're going to have to get the Orkin man out here, baby, because we are all over the place. Keep spreading the words, friends. We've got some domestic abuse happening around the sports world. One involving Richard Sherman. Had this one sent to me a few times. He was arrested at his in-laws' home. And there was apparently a car accident. He's a free agent now, Richard Sherman. Used to play for the 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, of course, and the legendary Legion of Boom. He's facing several charges, including one on suspicion of burglary domestic violence. I didn't know they could combine those two things. But after he was arrested at his wife's parents' residence in Washington earlier Wednesday, Redmond Police Department Chief Darrell Lowe said at the news conference Wednesday that Sherman also faces charges of suspicion of resisting arrest and malicious mischief. Man, those are the types of charges that I don't understand, that I think cops just throw on if you're an asshole. Malicious, yeah, what the fuck is that? You know? That's just malicious mischief. Oh, so he was just probably spouting off, and they're like, we can tack him on with that. You know? Wild. That's like when I got arrested, I got a DUI in my youth. I'm not proud of it. I'm a piece of shit. We all know it. When I got arrested, the cop was like frisking me, and he's like, do you have anything, weapons on you or anything? I'm like, no, sir. He went into I had like a pea coat on, and he went into my lapel, like the inner pocket, like when you go like this, the inner pocket, and there was a paper clip in there. I don't know why. Maybe it was from like a form or something. I don't know why there was a paper clip in there. But he freaked out. And he was like, I could have stabbed myself on this. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. Like, I really fucking like was like begging him. He could have tacked on like that I was trying to assault him or something, though. He told me that, and I was like, please don't, for a fucking paperclip in my pocket. But I was such a crybaby loser that the cops felt bad for me, and they were like, all right, whatever. We don't even want to charge you with the crime we pulled you over for here at this point. But they did. Speaking of DUIs, though, in addition, Washington State Patrol Captain Ron Mead said to the news conference that his department is also ready to refer Sherman to prosecutors for possible misdemeanor DUI and a hit and run. Excuse me, I was just trying not to burp into the microphone. Sherman sustained minor lacerations to his lower leg and ankle, and he was treated at a local hospital as a result from contact from a police dog. So he's getting into it with the police dog. So there's your mischief right there. And I'm surprised because I would think that they would put the police dogs in the same regard as the officers and be like, that's an assault on an officer, brother. You assaulted Officer Sparkles, and now you're going to get it. But here we are. So the dog fucking went at him, huh? He was booked, and he's in the King County Corrections Facility in Seattle. I feel like I hear about that all the fucking time. King County Correctional Facility. Records state he was denied bail. Sherman, his hearing before the judge will not take place until, well, tomorrow afternoon and this time. So by the time this comes out, we'll know his fate. But as of this moment of this recording, we do not. The domestic violence component of the charge Sherman faces, which is a felony, is because of his relation to the occupants of the residence. The malicious mischief charge is in relation to the damage he allegedly did to their front door. So apparently he was ruining their door and things of his in-laws. You don't fuck with the in-laws' house. I don't care how rich you are. Maybe he's like, I bought you this door, and he's like fucking it up. I don't really know the circumstances. We'll find out after the sentencing. Redmond police received a 911 call approximately at 1:49 a.m. from one of the residents of the home. 4 adults were present, saying that Sherman was trying to gain entrance. Lowe said he was unsure if there were children present, and so now we're going to find out what happens to old Richard Sherman in court. They received a blood search warrant and took a sample from Sherman. Those results are still pending. But there was an odor of intoxicant emitting from Sherman's breath. I wonder if it was booze or if it was weed. I don't know. You can smell booze on a breath. Can you smell weed on a breath? It's more like in your clothes and such. So it's probably something to that effect. This is all about his career. And I don't know if he's going to... Now it's all up in the air if he's going to get signed or whatever. So we'll see what happens. There is another domestic violence NFL case in the news at the moment. And this one comes to us. This one's a little bit of a reversal. So this is kind of like a revenge one, maybe. For all the women that are getting hurt by gentlemen out there, this one is for you, because this one involves a wife beating up her husband, who is an NFL player. Not good for him. Training camp's going to start up soon. A lot of shit talk coming his way. It's Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins, who of course used to start for the Washington football team, now backing up Ben Roethlisberger. The Steelers, of course, hope that he can then take over the role of starting quarterback for Ben Roethlisberger once he retires. Las Vegas is where it takes place. The wife of Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback Dwayne Haskins was charged with domestic battery after a July 3rd incident at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. Calabria, I don't know if I'm saying her name, Calabria Haskins, 23, is accused of knocking out one of the teeth of Dwayne Haskins when she punched him after a disagreement, according to the arrest report. A piece of his tooth was found on the floor of the room of the hotel room. I want her out of my room, Haskins told a security officer at the Cosmo. She hit me and cut my lip open. She did more than that. She fucking knocked your tooth out, dog. And good for him for not retaliating, by the way, and doing like the thing where it's like he gets hit, so now he thinks he could just beat the shit out of her. Now, if she would have texted him, beat the shit out of me, the way that Trevor Bauer's lady did, then he probably would have done it. But he called downstairs, and that's what's so funny. He did everything right in this scenario after a woman punched him in the face, knocking his tooth out, a woman that he calls his wife. He did everything right, but that's not going to stop the fact that on the field this season, he is going to get so much. They're like, oh shit, I was going to sack you, but I thought maybe your wife would do it first or some shit like that. You know what I mean? He's going to get so much fucking shit talk. He might even get it at training camp. Look for Dwayne Haskins when he's playing preseason ball or he's in training camp, getting in some scuffles, because that's always a fun part about training camp coming up here at the end of the summer. The inter-team scuffles that occur. They're always my favorite. But yes, I just wanted to give one out there, say, hey ladies, you're doing it too, and I love you for it. The dispute stemmed from plans for social outings. So he just picked the wrong restaurant or some shit, and she was like, I'm going to beat your ass. She said, listen to this. She said her friends were going to a Magic Mike show, and Haskin and his friends were going to a beach club and nightclub. Instead of waiting for his wife and the others, Haskins and his friends went without them. When they returned, the fight got physical. Haskins was treated for facial injuries. The wife was not in handcuffs during her interview with detectives because she had hurt her hand. Haskins was signed by the Steelers, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Dwayne Haskins gets any shit talk. I'm sure he'll get plenty. Who do you think gets more? I don't think that Carl Nassib's going to get any shit talk. I don't think people are going to be like shit talking him for coming out as gay. I think Dwayne Haskins is going to get so much more for his wife beating the shit out of him. Now I put this one in here under sports, even though it really has nothing to do with sports, because it involves a gym teacher. Yes, that's right. There was a 911 call that sheds light on a shootout involving a North Carolina gym teacher and a Mexican drug cartel. And this is interesting because it has the 911 call on here. There was like 4 or 5 911 calls that they put in here. But apparently one of the gym teachers was involved. This gym teacher, not one of them, this particular one, he was involved in a cartel and was like involved in a like Walter White style shootout, although he is not the man who knocks, apparently, because he was murdered during it. Barney Harris of Union County was found dead at the scene. Harris, a high school Spanish teacher and gym teacher at Union Academy Charter School, and the school posted this on Facebook. The sheriff's office believed Harris had entered a mobile home while no one was there and waited for another person to arrive. When that person arrived, his hands and feet were bound. So he was like waiting for one of the other people in the cartel. This gentleman, Lara, was found with 2 gunshot wounds to the back of his head, and it appears to be an execution-style killing. Harris was found in the bedroom and had been shot multiple times. He was wearing a vest, gloves, and a face covering. So it seems like this was a bit of a deal gone awry, as it were. He was there waiting for this Lara person. They were going to do a deal. Another cartel swooped in, blah, 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 bling, 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 execution-style murders, and many, many 911 call audio. None of them were fun, though. That was the thing. When I got this article sent to me, I thought it was interesting that a gym teacher, very Breaking Bad-esque, was participating with a Mexican drug cartel. It just goes to show, folks, we need to treat the teachers better. They're not getting paid enough. They're just not. I mean, if you're a teacher and you're not in a Mexican drug cartel, you're lazy, because I know what you get paid, and I know it's not enough, but there's nothing I can do about it. So what I'm saying is, you need to get an OnlyFans, join a Mexican drug cartel. These are the lengths teachers are going through. Can we give them a little more money, please? And if you're just sitting there complaining about being poor, you're not trying as hard as these people. That's all I'm saying. But yes, this was a drug deal gone awry. I don't think there's much more. The school website says Harris was married with 2 sons and a daughter. Well, that's a shame. Just trying to provide for his family by joining a Mexican drug cartel. You see, because getting a part-time job just doesn't cut it. I mean, the poor guy's got to work all day getting a summer job. It's just not enough. Mexican drug cartel, that's some money. So he had to go about it that way. Now, as we wrap up sports for a little bit, we have 2 hockey stories, one of which I called. But first, I wanted to get to the dastardly Tampa Bay Lightning. Already kind of cheating their way to a championship, I'll say it. I'll accuse them of it. Going over the salary cap, many people very up in arms over the fact that they did that and that they won the cup for the 2nd year in a row. But now that they've won the cup for a 2nd year in a row, I feel like they're getting a little too familiar with the Stanley Cup. And we know what happens, and if you don't know, if you're not a hockey person, when the Stanley Cup is awarded to a team, that team then, every player on it, gets a day with the Stanley Cup. So the Stanley Cup, they can take it out on a boat. Remember when Tom Brady threw the trophy, the Lombardi trophy, from one boat to another to Gronk, and the woman who created the Lombardi, or the woman's father, a woman who is the daughter of the guy who created the Lombardi trophy, she was all like, "How dare you disrespect my father's artwork, blah, blah, blah." The Stanley Cup never has that. There's a handler for the Stanley Cup that goes around, he wears gloves, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, can't do that, can't do that." But when you're a player who wins it, he doesn't get to tell them anything. These guys, I've seen people do wild shit. There's all sorts of stories of wild shit happening to the Stanley Cup. Now with cell phones being present, more of them are becoming available. I guarantee you there have been circle jerks coming into the Stanley Cup. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Can't give you an instance. Can't tell you which team did it, but I know it happened. I just know. And I don't know what occurred necessarily here with the Stanley Cup, but let's see. Steve Stamkos wore a T-shirt bearing "Back to Boat," which was like in Tampa Bay when they win a championship, they all go out on boats. Ooh, cool. We know you live in Florida. I'm just mad Tampa Bay wins everything the last couple of years, but whatever. Monday, as a picture went viral on social media showing a significantly dented Stanley Cup, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning were toasted with a boat parade on this Hillsborough River for the second time in 10 months when thousands of fans, no longer burdened by COVID-19 restrictions, gathered downtown to join the fun. The Stanley Cup at the parade, however, was unfortunately cut short as the bowl of the cup was dented during the festivities. A Lightning fan posted it on their Twitter. We have the screen grab here of Pat Maroon holding the Lightning holding the damaged cup. The Hockey Hall of Fame's keepers of the cup could be seen carrying it with a small blanket over it. So they treated it like it was like Hillary Clinton when she was like fainting. They were like, "Get it out of here." You know, they put it under a blanket and threw it in a trunk, you know. Inject it with steroids. Do something. A source told ESPN's Greg Wyshynski that the cup was shipped back to Canada for repairs. There's no word on how the cup was damaged. Let's take a look at it. What could that be? Just a simple drop while drunk? Maybe they were trying to replicate the Stanley Cup is significantly heavier than the Lombardi Trophy. Maybe they were trying to replicate the Tom Brady thing where they were trying to throw it from boat to boat and it just donked off the side of a boat and then went into the water. I've seen people swim with it. People drink shit out of there. I guarantee people come in it. Guarantee. Team chemistry. Let's all last person to come in the cup loses. It's like a game like that. That's my dream. If I won the Stanley Cup,
You're jizzing in?
I'm jizzing in the top of it. If you could do because that's the thing, you get a day with it. There are people that have taken it to the mountains and taken pictures. They've done everything you can imagine. I am putting it down and I am coming into the top of that.
Through the fly?
And it's not even through the fly. And it's not even disrespectful. It's honoring the cup. I'm bukakiing the cup. I don't do it to disgrace women when I do that. I'm going to do it to the cup. I'm going to bukkake the cup like it's a lovely woman that I just made love to. But denting it, that's out of the question. Out of the question. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us also by HelloFresh. You've heard me drone on and on about how I hate menial tasks. I just can't be bothered. Grocery shopping is at the top of that list. I don't know what ingredients I need to get that's going to last me throughout a week. That seems so taxing to try and figure out. But thanks to HelloFresh, now I look forward to what I'm going to eat because I see it in nice, beautiful pictures on their menu. They have a wide variety of things to choose from. Easy, delicious options for all 3 meals of the day. Plus every snack and special treat in between. HelloFresh has all of it in their market, and it all looks beautiful. And I promise you, when it arrives and you put it together, it tastes even more beautiful than what you would imagine. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items each week, including ready-to-eat salads, sandwiches, and soups. Right now, you can try HelloFresh quick and easy meals, 10 to 20 minutes. That's all it takes. Dinners, breakfast on the go. Easy options, perfect for your lifestyle if it's a little chaotic, my friend. And right now I want to get you freaking hooked up, dude, because I hooked myself up. They hooked me up. I mean, it's changed my life. It's gotten rid of the Instacart. It's gotten rid of all the things of trying to have to figure that out. Now I just go, ooh, that looks good. Me want. I click, I buy, I get. And you can do the same thing just by going to HelloFresh.com/JoshPotter14. Use the code JoshPotter14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/JoshPotter14 and use code JoshPotter14 for up to 14 free meals. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Today's Josh Potter Show also brought to us by the fine folks at Purple Mattress. My Lord. Doesn't it seem like the entire world just doesn't want you to sleep? They just want you to be up all night, and then you go through the next day like a zombie, and you're just losing your mind. You're snapping on people and everything like that. It doesn't have to be that way when you have Purple Mattress. You can sleep cool and comfortable no matter what the world is throwing at you. That's because Purple Mattress has this cool new technology. I don't even know what the technology is, but they call it the Grid. And the Grid is a unique ventilated design that allows air to flow through to help you sleep cool, even when it feels like 1,000 degrees outside. I'm here in LA right now, and I got to tell you, It's been brutal. I told you the story about my roommate in the air conditioning. Well, yeah, thank God for purple, so I don't, do those bad things to my roommate for making the air conditioning 78 degrees. Unlike memory foam, which remembers everything, stupid memory foam, the grid bounces back as you move and shift, so you never get that I'm stuck feeling that you do when you get with memory foam. Try your Purple mattress risk-free with free shipping and returns. Financing available too if you need to do that. So Purple is comfort reinvented. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more just by going to purple.com/Josh. Use promo code Josh. That's purple.com/Josh. Promo code Josh for 10% off any order of $200 or more. One more time, purple.com/Josh. Promo code Josh. Terms apply. Another story in hockey, and I don't know if I could say that I called it or what. Did I give you a link to this one? I think I just have it. I'll pull it up here because this is like breaking news. Last week we talked, of course, of the tragic passing of Matisse Klevenix, goaltender for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who, of course,
unfortunately passed away.
Yes, he was struck by a motorcycle. Jesus.
Mortar.
He was struck by a mortar firework. I'm doing two things at once here, trying to pull up the article and speak. But everyone tagged me in this, and now I can't fucking find it. Here it is. Bleacher Report has the article. This is breaking news, and I had to bring it up because of the fact that we discussed it last week, the tragic passing of Matisse Klevenix, struck by a mortar at a 4th of July party. And I had said that it's just such a sad, tragic story. Why couldn't we Todd Beamer it up? Why couldn't we go like, oh, he saved a group of puppies, he jumped in front of it, and it was about to hit a school bus, something, right? Well, the press has taken note, and they have decided to, in fact, do that. Elvis Merzlikins, I'm not sure who that is, Elvis Merzlikins says that Matisse saved him, his wife, on the night of his death. Columbus Blue Jackets other goalie, Elvis Merzlikins, said teammate Matisse saved a lot of lives, including those of him and his pregnant wife. His wife was pregnant. See, we Todd Beamered it, baby.
Bro.
Now, am I suggesting that this one is fake like the Todd Beamer story? No. But if it is, good. Because we need more. This is how the story should have came out already. We shouldn't have had the initial story. We should have had this the entire time. It says here that he discussed the heroic actions of I can't ever say the guy's name. I feel so terrible. Kivlenix. And I'm not trying to Stephen A. Smith it, by the way. I'm just poor at speaking this tongue. Kivlenix, 24, was killed on Independence Day when the fireworks mortar tube accidentally angled toward the hot tub. Now they're saying several other people were in the area of the blast, but no one else was injured. The firework display took place at the Michigan home of Columbus goalie coach Manny Legacy. We know this. Due to the high-profile nature, we wanted an extra set of eyes on the case, said police. And, of course, now all the details are coming out, and his teammate is saying he saved me and my pregnant wife. I wonder if they named the child after him. But, hey, who called that shit? I don't know that I called it, but I definitely put it into the world and said we need a story like that. We need to Todd Beamer this story. And maybe we can do it with other stories in the future. We get another story up there. Let's Todd Beamer that bad boy as well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for things that need to be Todd Beamered down the road. So we're going to do that. But time for the news. And I feel like this is becoming, the news segment is just straight up fucking fast food at this point.
Our boy RJ.
RJ sending in stuff. So did Luke Rutz. He was a Roach reporter out there that sent in this story about Taco Bell employees. By the way, another fireworks story here. Taco Bell employees set off fireworks inside of their restaurant. They caused a fire after accidentally locking themselves out. A Taco Bell employee was arrested on Monday in Nashville after she and her coworkers allegedly set off fireworks inside the restaurant, causing the building to catch on fire as they watched from afar and accidentally locked themselves out. I don't understand that scenario. Like, they were inside lighting the fireworks and then they locked themselves out while the fireworks were going off. How did they watch it then? That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, here is the bright woman who did it right on the screen now. Yay. All righty. Not quite a Tina Gonzalez from last week. Golly, we'll talk about her in a little bit. But yes, no, it says here that on July 8th, the investigation of the blaze began when it took to take a turn on July 8th when the restaurant's management called the local fire investigators to report the surveillance cameras had captured their employees playing with fireworks inside the establishment. Should have got those fireworks to blow out those fucking surveillance cameras. According to the surveillance footage, the employees can be seen locking the doors and to the dining room to keep customers from entering the business. Well, that was very nice of them. The video then shows the employees running around the inside of the store with fireworks in their hands. So they were probably getting Roman candles going like, skadoosh, 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 skadoosh. Employees are seen using their cell phone cameras to record the trash can from the outside of the restaurant. Okay, so they put them in a trash can, turns out, and then they went outside, which is silly. It's like they knew the restaurant was going to light on fire here. Employees then realized they locked themselves out. The employees tried unsuccessfully to get back into the store. When the employees saw the trash can start to smoke, they called 911 for help. The footage has not been released, but firefighters arrived on the scene short time later and were able to force their way into the restaurant to extinguish the flames. The Nashville Fire Department estimates that the fire caused more than $30,000 worth of damage inside. Isn't it funny how it's kind of cheap, $30,000? Because it's like, well, it ruined all the food, which is a collective $4 at Taco Bell. The rest was just the seats, you know what I mean? Like $30,000 doesn't seem like that much for a building getting burnt down. The restaurant shift leader, 25-year-old Courtney Mays, who we saw on the screen there, was taken into custody on Monday and charged with felony aggravated arson. Arson is one of the costliest human-made disasters. The fire department states arson indirectly contributes to increased insurance premiums, higher medical costs, lost jobs, lost income, and the increased cost of fire services. Wow, really laying it out there about arson. Don't do arson, kids. Costly crime. As if anybody who commits arson gives a shit. That's the whole point. Arson is the biggest anarchy crime there is. Like when you're an arsonist, you literally want to see the world burn. So they love the fact you're just enticing more arsonists. They're like, oh man, it does all that. Let me burn some more shit down. I really don't like that they did that in there. But RJ, yes, he did put in another fast food story here. And RJ's just been sending us a whole shit ton of stuff. There was one in here from him, right? Oh, yes, right here. Burger King employees are fed up inside the mass exodus from fast food. This is from RJ, our fucking fast food beat reporter. And it makes complete sense. We've talked about how many stories where the fast food people are getting shot for putting too much hot sauce. There's a bomb threat for not giving enough sauce. Why would anyone want to work in fast food? It doesn't make any sense to me. I have no idea why anyone would want to do it. I know some places are starting to give more and more benefits now, different types of benefits, things that we've never seen before in the fast food world, because of the fact that the world is starting to realize these are our new generation of 9/11 firefighters. This is our heroes. They're out there in the line of fire every day, dealing with mentally ill people who only eat fast food, so they become more mentally ill and unhealthy, and they're angry, and their brain levels are all fucking wonky. Do you know, I thought about this. I can't even get a job in fast food here in Los Angeles because you basically have to be bilingual. I'm always so impressed. When I go into a fast food place and they're speaking Spanish to people, I'm like, I guess I couldn't work here. You know, what would I do in that case? It's very interesting. It's like you have to have that on your resume now to work for fucking $8 an hour. That's sad.
Isn't it higher now?
I don't fucking know. Is it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
But
I mean, there are, like you said, there are 9/11 firefighters. I'm sure they're getting like $15 or something like that.
Some places I know minimum wage has gone up, but at the end of the day, and somebody told me this, they were like, hey Josh, I've tried the Burger King spicy chicken sandwich and that shit is dog shit. Maybe we got to get one. I don't know if this is going to, maybe I got to get one and bring it here and try one on the show.
Yes.
Because maybe it'll cause me to become violent. I don't know. A true test here for all the roaches out there. Go get a Burger King spicy chicken sandwich. Tell me how shitty it is, and tell me, does it make you commit violence? I don't want you to commit violence. I'm just asking. Does it do it? You know what made me almost commit violence this week? My roommate set my air conditioning to 78 degrees in the house. 78 degrees air conditioning. It was hotter inside than outside at one point. Yeah. How am I not supposed to kill this person?
I would get a little upset with that. That doesn't make any sense at all.
It was like a dog was breathing on me. Oh. It was so gross. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he's like, well, it was on really cold. Yeah, I know. I put it that way. Fucking nut up. The guy's from fucking Wisconsin.
Put a fucking blanket on, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, I tweeted. I took a Xanax. I calmed down. I did not commit homicide, but you know, it was close. It was close. But yes, RJ sent this story in about Burger King, and it's just due to the ongoing effects of COVID happening. They're not able to attract workers to Burger King anymore or many other fast food places. And gee, I wonder why. Could it be because the working conditions fucking suck? I don't know. Fucking idiots. Here's a fun one from Paul Schiff, another Roach reporter out there, and pleased to be sending your stories. And again, joshpottershow@gmail.com. This one, again, Paul Schiff sent this one in. It says, an Illinois man suffers from dementia, was hospitalized after bribing. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see. I'm bad at reading this because I can't see good. So let me try again. An Illinois man suffering from dementia was hospitalized after binding his genitals with rubber bands until his penis began to rot. Why arrested for such a thing? Should be able to do what you want to your genitals, I'd imagine. Let's find out what it is. Strangulation cases like this are thankfully rare, said a doctor, a urological surgeon at Beacon Hospital in Dublin, because apparently happened over there. O'Kelly, yep, that's the doctor's name. O'Kelly, he said, if this is important to the... God, something's going on with my fucking eyes, dude. All right, I'm getting better. Okay, let's try again. This is important as the arterial compression means no blood flow in, and that means no oxygen supply to the organ, and it begins to die. So that's what happened. That's his kink, though. Let the guy fucking make his penis rot. Who gives a shit? The 81-year-old male had initially reported to the hospital after suffering from a diabetic sort of situation, a potentially deadly reaction to low levels of insulin stemming from his uncontrollable diabetes. So that's why he checked in there, and then they were like, wait a minute, your penis is going to rot off because you have all these fucking rubber bands around it. However, when asked about his testicular tourniquet, the man seemed confused. He's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with it? Nonetheless, the subsequent examination revealed that the patient's phallus was indeed severely swollen and had turned yellow and purple, signifying that it had begun to die.
Oh, I don't want to hear this. Oh,
isn't that wild?
that sounds awful.
The guy's 81, though. His penis was dead probably 10 years ago.
Purple, yeah, huh?
His shit was dead back when fucking Osama bin Laden was still alive. Who gives a fuck if maybe he's just so annoyed that his penis doesn't work anymore that he was like, get this fucking dead limb off my body. And he put a bunch of shit on it so it would fall off. Doctors deduced that the man's unconventional hog ties, winky face, that's a funny little pun, had staunched the blood flow and damaged his member, which, when coupled with his poor circulation from the underlying diabetes, had resulted in a necrotic or gangrenous state. That means like gangrene, yeah? That's necrotic, meaning like
dead.
Fucking dead people? Yeah, what's the fucking dead people thing?
Necrophilia?
Necrophilia. So if he used his dead dick to fuck a dead person, is that still necrophilia? Or do two deads make a life? I don't know. In order to prevent further degradation, doctors burned out the dead flesh with a hot wire and excised it with a scalpel. They also inserted a catheter into the unfortunate soul's urethra to drain the reservoir of urine. That's the other thing. The guy's got to piss. What was he thinking? He had a reservoir of urine that just pooled up because the patient's groin had prevented him from peeing. That's so fucking gross. So you just got a fucking dick full of piss? Yikes. With the help of antibiotics, the patient recovered within 5 days. That's miraculous. The guy is so old, and somehow it recovered within 5 fucking days. By the way, we're talking about penises and things like that. There's a gentleman on Twitter, follows us, and I follow him back. He is the Pecker Checker, Dr. Pecker Checker. He's a penis doctor. He sent me some photos that, for a moment, I will say, had me questioning the fly situation. Some unfortunate photos. I can't obviously share them here. That's why we don't say his name, because I don't even know if he's allowed to, but he was giving me sort of a cautionary tale of what could occur when you get your dick caught in a zipper, and he sent me some gnarly photos, and that validates some of you out there. To me, it does not validate anything. Say I rode a motorcycle. Say I was like a Harley guy, and I was riding a motorcycle. If you showed me motorcycle accidents, that's going to make me stop. They see it all the time. They're like, this ain't going to happen to me. I'm a badass. Room. That's what I'm doing with my dick through the fly. So, looks like this man still has his penis. An organ like the penis could probably tolerate this action for a couple of hours if you don't pass out with pain. However, eventually, the pressure becomes too great and the arteries become compressed as well. In theory, if you left it long enough, the penis could fall off. But I've never seen that happen. Maybe that's what, like I said, I think that's what this guy was trying to go for. This is unfortunately not the first case of phallic strangulation. Yeah, I had a few of those just a couple of weeks ago. Some phallic strangulation, you know what I'm saying? I committed every morning on my own accord, some phallic strangulation. Next up, we have one from Lorena Gutierrez, a lady Roach reporter, which is very fun to see. London Library apologizes after man dressed as rainbow dildo butt monkey appears at kids' event. Now, this one we should have got a picture of, Sean. You can just Google this and find it because it's all over the place right now. People are up in arms. And it's one of these things where it's like woke culture and, sensibilities are starting to clash. We're seeing it all the time in our society, and this is definitely one of them because I noticed they were doing, this falls in line with them having, trans people coming in to speak in libraries to children about being trans and things like that. Those things happen. Whoa, that's not it. I mean, that's partly it. There he is right there, but there's some fun things.
Yeah. I'll put a picture.
Oh, we can't show that?
I don't know, can we?
It's just a dildo.
Can we?
I don't know. But we can show the guy, right? All right, cool. Well, there's the guy. And of course, I'll explain what was happening here. But yes, no, they have, which is raising awareness about trans people. I don't see anything wrong with that as long as they're not going you're trans. And the kids are like, am I? And then it confuses them even more. That's kind of fucked up. But, to each their own. If you want your kid to go learn about that, then you should know what's happening. In the case of this library, they brought in the rainbow dildo butt monkey, who was portrayed to them and parents as a multicultured, it says he was dressed as a multicolored monkey, rainbow and all, but he had fake genitalia on it and nipples. So he was appearing at a children's event. The footage of the arts group in the library series, they have all kinds of photos of it. I wonder if they have video too. This led to many questioning the judgment of the event organizers because they saw this guy show up. And they were he's like, let's read Cat in the Hat. And they're like, why do you have a fake dick on? You fucking monkey. What are you doing? So they hired this guy without even doing any research. This is what this is. I've realized now this is what this isn't any sort of attempt to be woke. This was them getting duped by a guy. This guy was like, I'm an entertainer. I do children's parties. I can come. I'm a rainbow monkey. I'll come. The children love it. But then they didn't know that they didn't do enough research to know that the guy had a giant phallic dick and nipples. So many people are up in arms. It's wild. The organization did note that this event was arranged by a different group. They're trying to put it off. They're like, someone else did that, not us. But we're going to have a full investigation. They apologized for the incident, noting, we never intended to offend the residents, respect everyone's individual opinion with no offense to any part. Actions are being taken, more information to follow. As a result, the controversial performance, council leader had said that all other performances will be canceled, probably because they have to vet who the fuck's making these events. And they have to be like, what are you doing? I guarantee it's someone half-assing their job, nothing more. Furthermore, they said they have launched a full investigation, as I mentioned, into the incident, and they will put stringent measurements in place to ensure something like this does not happen again. Well, folks, lots to... I mean, where are we on the time here there, Sean? I can't tell.
We're at an hour and a good old 15 minutes.
Holy shit, we've gone a long time. Well, folks, I thank you for joining us. I'm going to end with a nice John Otto remix. Since we missed the voice of John Otto, we'll get him in down the road here. We did have that computer meltdown. We're frantic getting in here. I want to thank Sean for coming in last minute, as I have to get on a plane in less than 12 hours to go to Salt Lake City. But I hope you do come out and see me out and about when I'm traveling to come to you. I'm going to be...
We attended the Warped Tour.
We'll get that to the end. I'm going to not talk over that. We have shows coming up July 29th, July 29th, Brea, California, Brea Improv. I cannot wait for it. Sarah Weinshank is going to be there with, and so is Eric Rocha. It's going to be a fun show. And also August 2nd, St. Louis Helium Comedy Club. Pleased to be coming out. The live shows have been electric, and they're only getting better as I get more and more in practice. And also, do not forget, I know we couldn't get to many of your remixes and things. I know I had a couple from Grass Kingdoms and some others that I wanted to play, but because of the computer crashing, we had to put them off for next week and down the road. But pleased to be continuing to send all of your things, articles, queefs, music, anything you want to send to joshpottershow@gmail.com. I appreciate you joining us once again. I've got some fun guests planned coming up here in the next couple of weeks that I hope you're looking forward to as well. But until then, we will see you next Tuesday on The Josh Potter Show.
I try not to let it bother me, but it can be scary, that jerk. It can be scary. People are trying to pull you into the mosh pit.